Sheryl Crow is an American singer and songwriter and musician, primarily playing the guitar. She started her musical career as a music teacher. She sang for some advertising jingles, and then somehow she became a backing singer for Michael Jackson on tour, and a backing singer on recordings for big names like Stevie Wonder and Don Henley. In 1992, she recorded a debut album which was scrapped. She became involved in a music collective known as the Tuesday Music Club, who existed before she joined them, but effectively became a vehicle for her and her songs, and led to her actual debut, which was called Tuesday Night Music Club. After tensions with the group, she launched out on her own with the second album, Sheryl Crow, and she's had a lot of success and 9 more studio albums since. Hi, my name's Dan. So this is the second album by Sheryl Crow, which is called Sheryl Crow, which is slightly confusing because I'm kind of used to the convention that if you got an eponymous, is that how you pronounce it, album, it's quite often the first album that somebody releases. But I do know, these things can be changed around, which is fine. I am not a stranger to this album at all. In fact, it's been in my collection and played quite a few times, basically since it came out. I was taken with Sheryl Crow when her first album came out. I think I probably latched onto her after hearing her hit song, which the name of which has just escaped me. All I want to do is have some fun, yeah. So I got that album, Tuesday Night Music Club, and I got this album, and I've listened to it quite a few times. I get the impression that she can be a bit sneered at these days, and I think that's sometimes the curse of anybody who is as popular as she was at the time, that people kind of go, oh, yeah, Sheryl Crow. But anyway, I have to say, so I think I got the first 4 of her albums and then kind of cooled off a bit towards her. But listening to this back is a good experience. I've enjoyed it. So Sheryl's often associated or thought of as being country rock, and I think partly that's cultural rather than actually musical. Sometimes in her singing she has kind of country ornamentation, but mostly I wouldn't describe this as country. But she does sometimes wear like a Stetson hat, and she's been known to go to rodeos, so maybe that's how she's associated with country music. So for this album, I would say it's more blues rock, but it's also kind of pop rock in some ways, in that it's very accessible, and again, that might be why people sneer at her sometimes. It's got occasional rocky grittiness to it, some overdriven stuff, some dirty sounds. There's even some sample loops on here, but there's a lot of different sounds being involved in here. For some reason in my head, I do kind of connect her a little bit with Alanis Morissette. A similar kind of sound at a similar time, although less kind of biting than Alanis Morissette was, possibly, but it still is. Quite a lot of the instruments on here are played by her, especially kind of the guitars and guitar-related instruments, but there's a good number of other musicians too here. There's a great listing of who does what on Wikipedia, but I was absolutely sure I could hear a banjo on the track Redemption Day, and there's nobody listed a banjo. Maybe it's a dobro that's sounding like a banjo. Her voice is, her voice is a good voice, actually. I think if there is a weakness of it, it's a bit on the thin side. How I explain it other than the word thin, I don't know. It's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from somebody like Tom Jones, who's got a really thick voice, but it's not very thin, it's just a bit thin. So consequently, there's a lot of her being doubled quite often to give that thickness to the vocals, which it's done well, I would say, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily a detriment to it. She's got good expression and good range of pitch and volume, and yeah, she sounds like she's having feeling what she's singing. And I think at times actually they use the thinness, or she uses it because she produced it as well in the recordings to make her sound more vulnerable on some of the more vulnerable tracks. So she's not doubled. Um, I'm saying this confidently. I'm not absolutely sure if it's true all the way through, but on all the tracks, "Home" is quite a gentle song, which I think she's not doubled on. What I was going to say, the songwriting. So the songwriting is strong. It's not obscure, but it's not fluffy either. It's quite accessible in that sense. The well put together songs, and especially she's good at choruses, getting something that somebody can sing along with. And I think it's, there's a line to tread here between just being fluffy and throwaway music, but still having songs that are singable and memorable. And I think she does that well. The songs are mostly about life and about people. I don't know how much of this is real people or fictitious people. I suspect mostly it's kind of characters that she's made up. I'm going to particularly draw out Sweet Rosalind, Oh Marie. I like Hello, Oh Marie. The character that she builds in Oh Marie is quite an interesting person. Superstar, Maybe Angels, is about somebody who seems to believe that there are UFOs or aliens. One of the tracks near the end, The Book, sounds like it's actually personal to her. It's a song about having had a romance with somebody and then finding that the person that they had a romance with, quite a short romance, had written it into a book, presumably a novel that they'd written. And it just has that kind of feel of maybe this is something that really happened, but often you can't really tell unless they actually tell you. Every Day is a Winding Road is the one that I know best, because that was a big hit in the UK and it's a banger. About the twists and turns of life. As I said, Home is a gentle song. I definitely sang along to a lot of this. It's very familiar and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this album a lot. So that's what I think. This is thumbs up from me. What do you think? Are you one of the people who sneers at Sheryl Crow? And do you want to justify that? Or are you somebody who really likes Sheryl Crow? Or, is it new to you? I can't imagine there are many people who are watching this for whom it's new, but yeah, it might be. Whatever your opinion of this album is, I love to hear people's opinions, so please do share through the comments box. And that's it from me for now.
I read your book, and I find it strange